Namaste, this is Das, and welcome to the Why Hold On series. Today, I would like to start with a simple observation. Think of a football match. When the players enter the stadium, they can pass the ball left, they can pass the ball right, they can make a strategy for the first half of the game, they can make a strategy for the second half of the game, they can even position the players within the field where they would like. So, from an audience perspective, there is a certain freedom that the players have. And from players' perspective, also there is a certain freedom that the players have. Now, ne- neither the players nor the commentators and neither the audience, no one, no one questions the rules of the game. Why? Because before the players entered the stadium or the field was already marked and the goals were already positioned where they need to be. And the rules were established of how this game needs to be played. So nobody questions it, but now the focus is on how this game will be played, who will be winning based on the rules. The scoreboard is constantly assessed based on the rules of the game. And life works very similarly. We grow up with this picture around us, and this picture has certain milestones. Let's call this picture a blueprint. This blueprint of life has certain milestones in terms of what a good education looks like, what a good career looks like, what a good relationships looks like, what a good status looks like, what a righteous person looks like. Even the definition of good is coming from the blueprint itself. So, and you can look at it in any arena. Take a very simple situation like housing. For example, you perhaps may be renting and you're already thinking, where shall I buy my next house? Or I will buy my house one day. And which location it will be, what kind of house it will be. If you already have a house, then you're thinking, ah, one day I'll probably buy a more luxurious house, more comfortable house, more bigger house. And if you're in the process of selling, you're thinking, ah, where should I buy my next property? Now, observe something very interesting that when you are in this process of housing, you will go through a lot of questions. What is the right neighborhood? Where is the nearest hospital? Where is the nearest school? What kind of roads they have? What is the nearest shopping center? Will the house prices go up in this town or in this location? What should be the right size? And if you need a bank loan or a mortgage, which bank is the right bank for you? What is the right interest rate? So, see, all those questions are, of course, relevant for that transaction, and they are the right questions. However, if you observe a little more deeply, there is a very critical question that we never put on the table is the assumption itself. The assumption that why having a fixed home base is so psychologically important. Now, achieving the milestones, there is nothing wrong. There is, of course, there is a functional purpose to the house. It can be very practical, it can be very useful. You can store your belongings there, you can raise a family there. So there are functional utilities of that house. Uh, but when does it becomes a psychological necessity that it's going to disturb your everyday life? That becomes a daily conversation. So we are looking at inquiring on our relationship with these milestones. Same about a relationship. If you meet someone beautiful and they meet you, and you both are attracted with certain qualities, certain physical attributes, certain intellectual attributes, the way the other person talks, you have a great connection and you are exploring moment to moment. You're going on some walks, you're going for some movies, maybe you are doing some activities together. You are enjoying dinners, you're going to events, you're even planning travel together, you're traveling, you're having all these experiences. And notice something carefully. What happens? Before you know it, either one of them or both of them, they start popping the question: where is this going? Is this stable? Is that the right person? Perhaps it is. And if it is, then are we exclusive? Shall we discuss our future together? Shall we settle down somewhere? Shall we decide on what the future brings to us? Shall we pool our resources together? Is that the right person to raise the kids with? All those questions pop out. Now, in all those questions, and of course, it'll have its own function per se, it will have its companionship, it'll have its intimacy, it'll have that support, it'll have the trust, it'll have all that combinations. However, again, the key question, we don't put it on the table, why it is a psychological necessity for you to have that. Nothing wrong in having a relationship or a house. And they are beautiful opportunities. They shape you who you are. So they are absolutely brilliant opportunities to be investigated. And if you haven't explored, of course, out of pure curiosity, you should explore it. So in these milestones, that what a good success, what a good criteria looks like, all of a sudden we get this idea that we are looking around, we are very familiar with this idea. Everyone around us is experiencing the same milestones. So before we know it, we start automatically adjusting to that familiar nature of all these milestones. And as we are growing up, we somewhere start seeing stability as a prefix to the milestones. So instead of just looking at a career, now you're talking about a stable career. Instead of just looking at a source of income, you're looking at a stable source of income. Instead of just looking at a relationship, you're looking at a stable relationship. Instead of just housing, you're looking at a stable housing. So see how each of them, stability is a virtue. It's one of the highest soul virtues that comes from this blueprint of society, and nothing wrong with it. However, the interesting part is that you know everything in this life changes very fast. Your own body, your ideology, your spirituality, your ideas about ideas, your friends, the people, how you look at them, your perception of the world, their perception of yours, the climate, the weather, the seasons, everything is changing. So, intellectually, we are all fully aware that we are living in a flux that's constantly moving. It is not at all a stable line. And yet, when it comes to the major choices of life, we run in the opposite direction, trying to stabilize everything. Why? Because somewhere there is an unsaid promise of happiness that is coming attached to the stable milestone. So it is an unsaid promise, but everyone buys it. So it's like you buying a car, the warranty uh, brochure or PDF says that this car is only guaranteed for 5 years, unlimited kilometers. But you know, this particular brand of car is normally lasts longer. So you are not reading the 5 years or 3 years warranty. You are buying with the intention to last me 10 years or 5 years or 15 years. So there is an unsaid promise. There is a said and there is unsaid. So when we start attaching our happiness to this stable milestone, now no longer it is a possibility. Before, it was a possibility that if you do this milestone, if you study hard, perhaps there is a possibility you can get a great job in that particular field of study that you're studying. That's a possibility, absolutely. But the moment you attach your happiness to it, that possibility now becomes an absolute necessity. So the transition, the jump has happened. Now, once that jump has happened, now that is the fixation. Yeah, but a lot of people already know the word attachment, but I call it fixation because now it becomes absolutely necessary for you to have it. Because now, why would you otherwise put 7 years of advanced education or 15 years of basic education, something, all that effort? Because now you are already looking at the destination, but you have never been to the destination. You have never been to the destination, and yet you have attached your happiness to the destination. It is a possibility. Now, same is the idea of growth, that like stability, once you understand that, and once, of course, nobody forces you, you autonomously choose. Nobody's forcing you. You autonomously choose. So once we choose this idea of stable milestone is going to give me happiness, it means more of that is going to give me more happiness. But you haven't been in either of the categories. So first, you attach happiness to that milestone, and then you add slowly growth to that. So, what it does now, the milestone is never going to be achieved because growth is the gap between you and the milestone. Because if you achieve that milestone, let's say you apply a job and you become whatever that job's basic criteria is. Before you got the job was the milestone. Now, of course, there is a functional value. You will get money, you will use that money for all the paying your bills and resources. Perhaps that is perfect. There's nothing wrong in that at all. The inquiry is not about it. The inquiry is how we operate, how, what idea, what meanings we attach to these milestones. As you take a job and you attach this idea of stability and then growth. So, one, if you have a choice to take between a permanent job and a casual job, you will go for a permanent job and you'll be very happy about it. The second is, as soon as that happiness starts and you start the job, before you know it, the idea of the promotion, that next growth in the career pops up. And it's a never ending idea. It keeps going because we forget that we are doing it as a possibility, but now we have attached happiness to it. So now the possibility goes away. Now it is an absolute necessity. We must do it. Now, in that must do it, your life is totally absorbed in making those mini decisions about achieving that milestone. Because, and because you're so busy in making a decision after decision after decision about those milestones, you genuinely start feeling that you are free to make all your choices. And if that's the case, and if your original idea was to achieve happiness, then my question to you is, are you content? And look around. Do you see them truly content, truly joyful? Or is the race pops up in the brain and the madness starts before they even get out of the bed? Why? Because the milestone is important. Growth in that milestone is important. So apparently, more resources, more money, more houses, a more stronger relationship, kids or more kids, better status, stronger security, all that becomes a necessity. It's no longer an outcome. It's no longer a surprise possibility. No, it is a race. You are getting there. That's the way you want to be. Now, life is an absolute mission. It is a project. You must achieve that because in that mission, you must get ready, suit and boot, get ready to drill. There is no stopping you now because joy, who cares about joy? The more important part is that life is a mission and you must achieve it because that possibility is not a possibility, it is a necessity. That's how you take it. And it is not only relevant in the, if you call it material world, just to distinguish that some people are only doing it for status and a better job and a better business and more houses and more wealth. Perfect. That's functional aspect, and they're growing. One aspect. It is no different in spirituality either. If someone is looking for possessions here, in spirituality, someone is looking for more experiences. If someone is looking for more status and more businesses here, someone is definitely looking for more spiritual experiences here, more retreats, more chakra balancing, more Kundalini awakening. If someone is looking for possessions here, someone is definitely looking for grounding here. If someone is collecting all the art and fancy cars here, someone is definitely looking to collect all the knowledge and wisdom here. So you see, the object is changing, but the mechanism is precisely the same. It's absolutely the same mechanism. So the question I would like you to raise in this inquiry is that in this race where you spend decades, and someone who's still young, who's just starting a job, will spend months and years in building this whole blueprint from that same one. Because if you look around yourself, sit and inquire. Is someone doing anything different? Because when people really start believing they're doing something unique, it's actually taking a unique decision about achieving the same milestone. Milestone is still the similar category, it's just how you get there. But how you feel about it, because now it is an absolute necessity, you're not going to feel any different because now you must get there. That must is what is your driving force. And this inquiry is not anti goal or any anti milestone, not at all. They absolutely have a functional purpose. It is the meaning that we attach ourselves to that milestone. That is where the key is. And we are always busy just questioning the decisions to get there. So it's like, imagine you are young and me or someone tells you there's this beautiful destination. If you get there, you will be so fulfilled, you'll be so content, and it is the best way to enjoy this journey on planet Earth, that you must get there and you will see. But you have never been there. You've never been there. But that point is highlighted. Now, once that point is highlighted, of course, nobody's forcing us. So you make a decision yourself that I'm going to get on the plane and I'm going to get on the destination. Now, you will, of course, earn all the money, pack your bags, take all the responsibilities, pay all your bills, and you will do everything in your power to make sure you have attended to everything, because now you're responsible. It is your idea. You have chosen. You're acting on it. It is absolute. You are clear that it is my decision. Now, in that flight, let's say that flight is 30 years long, you spend all your life. You will have some beautiful views, you will meet some wonderful people, you will have some good food, not so good food, bad air in the aircraft, some flight delays, some challenges. You might have lost your passport, you might have got it sorted. So there's ups and downs, and you're busy. You're making those decisions, which food to eat, which aisle seat or window seat, and you think you're making a unique choice. And you are flying, and now you get there. You will perhaps achieve everything that the flight promised you, dropped you from A to B, gave you the food. Exactly everything was in that itinerary that you purchased yourself. But you never questioned really why you're getting there. It was a destination in your head. However, that was a possibility of exploration, but you didn't go to explore. You went there to achieve it because you have never been there, but yet you have that idea that this is it. So, no wonder when you get there, you are so exhausted. And it is not the exhaustion for all the prep work that you have done to prepare, plan, and get on the plane and land there. No, no, no. That can be challenging, but that is not the permanent exhaustion. The exhaustion is because you never took the opportunity to stop and ask, is this a possibility to explore and let's have some fun? Or is it a destination where the happiness is there? And if that is the case, look around. Has that promise been met? That promise of happiness, which comes attached to this idea of a stable career and a stable house and everything. And yes, you may not have questioned it yet. And there is a reason for that. If you haven't questioned it, your milestone hasn't collapsed yet. Because, see, when your milestone collapses, because before that, you never have an alternative vision. You are just going, you're just going. But, and every motorcyclist will know this, that if until they have slipped their motorcycle the first time, they're all super confident. They are only vigilant after that because the possibility now is two-way. Because the nature of the motorcycle is to fall down, and the nature of the rider is to keep it upright. That's where the fun is. The only possibility for the motorcycle is to fall down. You can try, take the stand off, it's on two wheels, and it's going to fall down. And the purpose of the rider is to have fun, nothing else. Commuting is an outcome that you get by getting on the motorcycle. You go from A to B. But the nature and the possibility is where the fun is. Every motorcyclist that I know, they enjoy that aspect of motorcycling to the level where the autopilot in them rides the motorcycle, the gear shifting and everything. And the fun is in that navigation, in ensuring it's not dropping, but the possibility remains. They're fully aware of that possibility always. So I leave you today with an inquiry, because it is not, you don't have to go through any fancy process, because we are on autopilot for so long. All you have to do is get your tea or coffee, sit down with yourself, and ask yourself, hang on, why do I believe in all this? Don't question the milestone, don't question the functional value, that is there. But why do I believe that this is going to make you happy? That is a very simple inquiry. So all you have to do is sit and ask yourself that when did I attach my idea of me being happy to the achievement of this goal? That's the two things. That doesn't mean you can't do the goal. You should absolutely do that milestone. But this is the question that I leave with you until our next dialogue. So this is Das. I will leave this inquiry with you. We'll meet again and we will go deeper and deeper each time. Namaste. Signing out. Have a good day and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.